Welcome to In Pursuit 360, and today we are going to be talking about you've got an interview coming up and you're starting to get the jitters. So what are some ways that we can deal with some interview jitters? And that's it. That's what we're going to talk about today. Let's get into it. All right, here we go. So welcome to In Pursuit 360. Again, we're going to be talking about interviews. You've got an interview coming up, and you know, my thing, it's law enforcement, obviously. It can be any interview, right? So what do you do? When do you get the most nervous about your interview? So is it the night before, right? Maybe you go to bed and you start thinking about like, how's it going to go? Oh, I'm so nervous. What if they ask me this? Oh, I'm going to answer this way. Next thing you know, it's like 3 or 4 in the morning and you have to get up in 4 hours so that you can go do this interview that you're now stressing over, right? Maybe it's while you're driving in. Something goes wrong, there's a traffic accident. Now you're worried that you may be late, and so that starts stressing you out. Maybe it's at the point where you are sitting just outside the door in a chair waiting to be called in, and you're seeing other people that go in or come out or whatever. Maybe that's it. Or maybe it's the moment you walk into the office and you actually sit down in the chair and they start talking to you. What part makes you the most nervous? Maybe it's every single part. I don't know. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about different ways that we might be able to deal with that. So specifically in law enforcement, you know that there is going to be a physical aspect of your training. You know that if you get hired, when you get hired, let's stay positive, right? When you get hired, when you're going through the academy, there will be physical training. Even if they don't sit there and make you do push-ups and sit-ups and jumping jacks and make you run and all that good stuff, they are at least going to put you into defensive tactics of some kind, right? So there's going to be some physical activity. As a law enforcement officer, you should be ready for some physical activity. Not every bad guy out there is going to say, oh yes, please go ahead, take me away. I won't give you any trouble. All you gotta do is watch the news to know that that's not true. So you should already, just because you're applying, be going through some kind of physical fitness program, some kind of physical training to get yourself ready for that. And why have I just spent so much time on that? One, it's important to be in shape when you're an officer. But two, physical fitness can help your body deal with stress. So it's important to maintain your physical fitness while you're on the road, but it's important to maintain your physical fitness while you're prepping to get the job, because it will help you deal with the stress of an upcoming interview or an upcoming polygraph or an upcoming physical fitness test, right? So your physical fitness helps your body deal with the different chemicals that are produced through stress, okay? So physical fitness is number one. Number one thing that you can do to help relieve some of those interview jitters is maintain your physical fitness. You should be doing that anyway. It's the healthy thing to do. So there you go. That's number one. Physical fitness will help you to control some of your jitters pending an interview. So let's talk about the next one. You're getting ready to go to bed. You go lay down in the bed. You're like, oh, I'm going to get some rest. I'm going to get some rest. And I'm going to be good and prepared. And as soon as your head hits the pillow, you start thinking, well, one of the first things they're probably going to do is say, tell me about yourself. So I'm going to end up telling them this, and I'm going to tell them that, and I'm going to tell them the other, and then I'm going to tell them this thing, and then you roll over. Okay, all right. Okay, so then I'll tell them about this, and then I'm going to, yeah, and then but then I roll over. Oh, if they ask me greatest weakness, what is my greatest, my greatest weakness is going to be procrastination. What am I going to, you're like, man, what time is it? You look at the clock, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Holy crap. All right, you got to stop. You can't let your brain keep going over this. So what can we do to help the going to bed jitters or the going to bed, I'm thinking too much? The physical fitness thing, right? How about preparation ahead of time? How about preparing, which is one of the things that you're doing watching these videos, you're starting to already prepare well ahead of time of the interview. If you're applying for a job, whether it be law enforcement or anything else, you know what job you're applying for. You know what the criteria is for that job. You know, or you should be researching to find out, like you're doing by watching this video, the types of questions that are going to be asked or the theories and the answers that they're looking for. So weeks and months up to the actual interview, you should start preparing yourself. Know what you're going to say. Know what ideas are going to play in your mind as to how to answer these questions, and practice ahead of time. If you can't find an active law enforcement officer that's willing to talk to you for a few minutes and maybe give you some sample questions or to critique you on your sample answers, just see if you have a friend. Or what about your current job that you're working in? Do you have a supervisor that's willing to sit down with you and maybe run you through a mock interview? Hey, I'll give you a hint. In Pursuit 360 is a subsidiary of my parent company, Spartan Training Systems. Spartan Training Systems is coming out with, very, very soon, online interview coaching, or interview coaching by Zoom or whatever, right? So I'm going to be offering interview coaching and resume building, resume review, cover letter writing, stuff like that. So I will be available to help mentor you in some of those, but find somebody that's willing to mentor you. I mean, I certainly don't mind. Come on over, I'll help you out all I can. But you can also find people in your own life, around yourself, in your own world that may be able to help you too. So whatever it takes, right? But get prepared. Get some of those sample questions asked and answered. Practice answering those questions. The old thing of, go stand in front of a mirror, ask yourself the question and then answer it. Look into the mirror, look into your own eyes as you answer this question. How do you look? How do you feel? But being prepared ahead of time, practicing ahead of time. So when you go to lay down at night, oh, what if they ask me what my greatest weakness is? Your automatic answer is going to be, oh, I got that prep. I'm ready. I practiced, right? And all these different questions that you can come up with that you can help prepare yourself for, that will help you rest. If you can't quite get that out of your mind, the other trick is control your breathing, right? You want to be mindful of your thoughts. Control your thoughts. You have control over your brain. So while you're laying there in bed, if all of a sudden your mind starts going to these questions, or, well, how am I going to walk in there, and how am I going to just stop, and then do something about, pick something that you like. What's a hobby? Do you bike ride? My thing is, I used to love building plastic models, so I always dreamed of building like the ultimate diorama, right? Like a World War II plane, and like a landing strip or something, and little barrels and jeeps and service things going on around it. And so when I would sit there and I would start having problems at night, I would sit there and close my eyes and then start imagining building that set, right? Or when I was bike riding, I would imagine myself, doing a certain bike ride, like what direction would I take, how far onto the right side of the road would I stay, and I would occupy my mind with something that was, quite honestly, mindless. It didn't matter. Whereas, you start thinking about your interview, it matters, right? Do you get the job or not? Or how do they think of you, and stuff like that. So it ends up mattering, and so then you worry about that. So pick something in your mind that you can concentrate on that has absolutely nothing to do with your interview, that's going to let you just kind of unwind. Always love another one of my favorites is, if I hit the lotto, what am I going to do first, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to pay off all my stuff first. I'm going to call each company. I'm going to call the mortgage company. I'm going to call my car loan people. I'm going to pay everything off right to the penny, and then I'll disappear, or I'll go do this, or I'm going to go trade in this car and get this one, and blah, 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 right? And it's mindless. It's absolutely mindless to think of things like this, and it will help you in order not be stressed, right? And in the meanwhile, you can also control your breathing, right? Deep breath in through the nose, count of 4, hold it to the count of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and let it out to the count of 4. And do nothing but that. Concentrate on your breathing. Concentrate, breathe in through your nose to the count of 3 or 4. Hold it for 3 or 4. Out through the mouth to the count of 3 or 4. And then do it again. And you just keep concentrating on that. Next thing you know, you're asleep. And it's all done. There you go. So control your breathing. Just control your breathing. Make your mind think of something else. Make sure you're exercising on a regular basis. What happens on your drive in, right? You have got to plan on leaving early, right? That old saying is, if you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time, right? So you got to be early. If you're supposed to be there at 9 o'clock, plan on being there by 8:30 at the latest. And if it takes you 30 minutes to drive there, leave at 8, right? No, leave at 7:30. So you're giving yourself a huge buffer just in case something goes wrong. All it takes is one moron to just tap the bumper of another car and you're now delayed by 45 minutes. Tell me if I'm lying, right? A little bump, they're sitting off on the side of the road, no fire department's even there, just one officer taking the report or whatever, and everybody's got to slow down to look. All the rubberneckers, right? They all get to do, ooh, anybody hurt? Or ooh, who's getting arrested? Or better yet, who's getting the crap beat out of them by the cops, right? They're all going to look. They're all going to sit there and stare, and they're going to make you even later. So plan ahead. Interviews at 9. Plan on being there at 8:30. If it takes a half an hour, leave an hour early. You now have this huge gap that you can use to make sure you're not late. That will help reduce your stress, okay? While you're sitting there, waiting to go in, try the breathing exercise. Don't sit there and try to run yourself through scenarios, right? If you know what your answers are and all that stuff, be confident in what you're doing, be confident in your experience, and just try to relax. By then it's look, you got 5 minutes before you go in, you are not going to suddenly come up with this miraculous answer that is suddenly going to get you the job, right? You've done all your prep already. Relax. Concentrate on your breathing. Do it again. 4 seconds in, hold for 4 seconds, 4 seconds out. Just relax. Relax. Find something else to do. Don't start staring at your phone, right? A lot of people get on their phone like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Well, next thing you know, you see some post somewhere that gets you all pissed off or all riled up or, you know, makes you even more nervous or whatever, right? Just relax. Just sit there, enjoy it, kind of look around a little bit. Control your breathing and everything. Oh, and by the way, watch out how much coffee you drink. Or don't overdo on those sports drinks like Red Bull and Monster and all that. Don't do all that either, okay? You got to be careful because you start getting jittery and then you're going to get nervous about being jittery. I did that one time in a lieutenant's interview and I went and got a Monster and thought, oh, you know, I'm kind of tired because I didn't sleep well the night before, right? Nobody helped me with this kind of advice. But I didn't sleep well the night before, so I go and get a Monster, and it's about time for me to go in for my interview, and I'm like, right? I'm going nuts. So don't do that. Watch the caffeine. Do not drink extra caffeine. Get a good night's rest. Give yourself plenty of time to get there. Prepare ahead of time. Keep up a good physical fitness program. That should help take care of a lot of those jitters. All right, so there you go. So we're coming up on 5,000 subscribers. I appreciate each and every single one of you. I wish you all the best of luck in your career choice and your career pursuits. Let me know if there's anything that I can do for you. And again, do me a favor, go ahead, mash that subscribe button down below. Give me that thumbs up. Thumbs down if you have to, but you know what to do. If you give me that thumbs down, you got to tell me why. Give me a reason why. What can I do better for you, right? And then hit that bell notification down there. That'll tell you when my next video is coming out. And that's about it for today. So make sure you pay attention. Don't let those jitters get to you. And good luck on your next interview. In the meanwhile, be safe out there.